It all comes down to this. Final game of the regular season for Minnesota and Boston. 2 playoff spots up for grabs as we close out the regular season here today.
Erin Frankel, their all-star, incredible goaltender, is back in net, and she is someone who thrives under the limelight and under the pressure. And obviously the leader, Hillary Knight, and Hannah Buildup as well. How can Minnesota handle that pressure and perform positively with all the with their heart at ease, and rely on Kendall Coyne-Schofield, the captain, to kind of calm her team down, help them to elevate their game and play with poise and presence. And I think it all starts with that defensive core, their ability to read pucks, to eliminate chances, especially the forecheck by Boston. And Sophie Jakes, we're taking a look at her right now, is a clutch performer.
We're up and running for the final game of the regular season for these two teams. Second to last game in the entire PWHL, with Montreal and New York getting going at 2 o'clock. Ottawa and Toronto are scoreless early in the second period. We'll keep you up to date on all the action in this Saturday triple header in the Professional Women's Hockey League. With the Olympian Gigi Marvin and Natalie Norrie ringside, I'm David Korzanowski. Boston has lost 4 of 5 games against Minnesota this year. Their one win came their last time out against the Frost. A come-from-behind victory. It's loose in front and steered away by Grace Zumwinkle of Minnesota. These two teams have not played in over 2 months. Last matchup between the Fleet and the Frost. Hannah Bilka out there now for the Fleet. She had an assist in her last game against Minnesota. That was back on January 26th. Bilka on the second line this afternoon with 11 points. Came back from an injury that kept her out for a couple of months. Returned to the lineup after World Championships. This is Coyne. Coyne couldn't get the feed across, and it's slammed in by Channel. Wrapping it around, it's thrown in front. Frankel stays on top of it. Channel Watkins. Another shot from the point. Runs into traffic. Minnesota able to keep it in the O-zone. Coyne shoots, and a save by Frankel. Couple extra chances for Minnesota. Fresh off the bench. Glove save on Petrie. It was a huge win for the Frost to keep their playoff hopes alive. Got a full 3 points on the road at TD Place against the Ottawa Charge. Just like last year, it all comes down to the final game and the final day of the regular season. Shot, they score! Curl breaks the scoreless tie. Less than 3 minutes in. Minnesota on the board.
There's a nice pinch, keep the puck in the zone, and as Prita Curl-Salemi comes around the top, gets it. Watch her release. She turns on an inside edge, and just such a quick release.
Again, Minnesota has won 4 of 5 games this year against Boston. 2 in regulation, 2 in overtime or a shootout. Erin Frankel has yet to tally a win against Minnesota this season. Beshova able to dance out of the way of the hit. Saulnier slows it down in the corner, kicks it deep, and Zumwinkle's first to it for the Frost. These two teams played in the second game of the year. A 2-1 win for Minnesota back on December 4th. Turnaround shot. They score again! Steckline on the backhand! Minnesota with a statement early.
Lee Steckline keeps it in. Notice how no one pressures her. That far side on in front of the net. There's no one down low and able to defend against Steckline as she beats her mark on the wall, able to cut in and throws it as Erin looks to stand up. Frankel stand up and make a play, but she just sneaks it underneath her leg into the far pad pipe.
Lee Steckline did not score a goal in the first 28 games of her season. Scored 2 against Ottawa and has 1 early in the first here to put the Frost up by a pair. Lee Steckline, described by her head coach Ken Klee as a big-time player, someone who's always going to show up in the big moments and in the big games. She has Minnesota's second goal, as Boston is now chasing it on their home ice.
Lee Steckline is such a calming presence. I had the fortunate blessing of being able to play with her as a teammate, and she just calms it. And so you think about a high-energy game like today, you want someone who can just bring the energy level down and help the team stay composed.
Steckline up to 3 goals on the year, 9 points for the defender from Roseville, Minnesota. Had an assist in her last game against Boston as well, and has a goal at 3:08 of the first. Pearl Salemi scored at 2:23, assisted by Bookbinder. And just 45 seconds later, Lee Steckline from Scheppers and Zumwinkle puts the Frost up a pair. Not the start Boston wanted. How do they respond?
Things just calming down. There's been a couple instances, especially in the D zone, where they've thrown the puck, made hope passes, hoping to connect to their teammate, but instead it goes right to a Frost player.
And a glove save by Hensley, her first of the day. Nicole Hensley made her first save on Greco's shot. Hensley, the 30-year-old from Colorado, got her first shutout of the season with 24 saves at Ottawa last time out. This is her 3rd game against Boston this year. This is Pearl again, who got the scoring going just over 2 minutes in. Deflected in front, Agia turns up ice. This is the 4th line for Boston. Agia cuts back in, active stick, turns it over. Nice job by Shishova to get it back to Minnesota as Panic chases in the corner. Here's DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo has played in every single regular season game in each of her first 2 years with Boston. Had an assist at Montreal in Boston's 3-2 overtime loss on Monday. Of course, this is a rematch of the PWHL finals last year. Went the full distance, 5 games. Minnesota won that decisive game 5, 3-0 to secure the championship. Turned over again. Toss back. Zumwinkle shoots, and Toppany's there. Extra chance. Frankel trying to close the door and able to seal that pad down on the ice and keep this 2-0.
Minnesota Frost happy, lots of smiles as they're up 2-0. It's a challenging thing to come in after being gone for 2 weeks essentially and step into a game where you want to be able to clinch for the playoffs. And so how will she be able to respond to this pressure that Minnesota's already put on her? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out and if she's able to just dial it in. And to be honest, a lot of it is also the play in front of her.
Right.
It's the 5 players on the ice. Can they do well managing the puck in front of her?
And Boston, who really emphasizes the forecheck, as Knoll drifts in and comes to the corner. Minnesota's forecheck has been the one that's established things early on in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, starting off that 2nd or 3rd shift, Kendall Coyne Schofield's line was just dynamite, pressuring hard and causing so many changes and shifts that Boston wasn't able to adjust and come underneath and cover.
Having trouble with some zone exits as well are the Fleet. Minnesota has tilted the ice. We've been looking left for most of the start of this game. Can Boston find their footing and get one back sooner rather than later? Minnesota, again, clinches a spot in the playoffs with a regulation win today. They can get in with an overtime win, but would need some help in that Ottawa-Toronto game. With a loss of any kind, Minnesota is eliminated from the playoffs. Shishova tries to keep it on her forehand. Keller does a nice job defending. Keller moves it along the boards. The center ice, Batherson, opposite side That's Bookbinder. Big hit along the boards. Taking a spill there is Greco. Icing. Maddie Rooney, a .925 save percentage against the Fleet and a 2-1 record. Again, if you're just joining us, Minnesota blitzed Boston. 2 goals in the first 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
With this line with Hillary Knight on it to settle her team down and hopefully have, if you're a Fleet fan, a good offensive zone shift.
Here's Toppinen. Fans eager for some action in the Boston O-zone. Quickly snuffed out with a turnover. Petrie moves it ahead to Curl. Fans cheering as Curl takes a hit. Strong pass up ahead. This is Bilka trying to get back between the circles. Nudging it ahead. And sealing off the play, Sophie Jakes. Jakes started her career here in Boston. Was with the Boston team for 7 games last year before she came over in a trade for Susanna Toppinen. Offsides is the call.
They really believe in the people that is in their room, to rely on the chemistry that they've built, and especially the experience during some of these intense moments to play to their level.
10:45 left in the first. Minnesota dominating this frame to this point. Sophie Shirley gets the nudge to the top line today as Hillary Knight is on the second line at right wing. Turning towards goal. Shot deflected. Didn't get all the way in on Hensley as Saulnier tries to fight for it in the corner. Kelly Panic is in there as well, a Minnesota native herself. Panic grew up in Plymouth, Minnesota. Played her college hockey with the Golden Gophers, 2-time national champion. Babstock tied up in the corner against Shepherd's. 4 lines out there for both of these teams. Thompson moves up. Thompson, the 3rd overall pick in the 2024 PWHL draft. The 2025 PWHL entry draft will be on June 24th in Ottawa. As Frankel makes a save and we step aside. This possession starts with a face-off win for the Fleet. As they work north into the O-zone, Keller is in deep. Keller had an awesome assist in the last home game against Toronto. Snapping a shot, barred, it hit off of a skate. And Minnesota able to dribble it out. Hustling back is Hillary Knight. Knight, eyeing the scoring title, is in the lead by 2 points entering this final day of the regular season. She has 29 points. 2 players tied for second at 27. Knight has exploded this year. 18 more points this year than she had last season. Montreal can clinch the #1 overall seed with at least 1 point, and they would choose their first round opponent. That's a nice wrinkle in the PWHL, is the top overall seed gets to choose their first round opponent. Last year it was Toronto who chose Minnesota to play in the first round, and the Frost ended up winning 3 straight. Come back from behind and win that semifinal series en route to a PWHL championship. All the way in, thrown across, and Petrie unable to get a shot on goal. Here's a Gia the other way. A Gia on the outside on the left. Channel Watkins got in her grill, thrown in by Morin. Again, an active stick by Petrie. Babstock, a big hit between the circles, and Boston is starting to find themselves on the offensive end. This is Morin. Morin throwing it wide, and Curl is first to it. Intercepted by Toppinen. Toppinen gains the zone. She's got Babstock with her. Toppinen shoots. Babstock in front, and it dribbles just wide. Boston has just one shot through the first 13 minutes of this game. Toppany has played very well against Minnesota this year. 4 goals and an assist as this one hopped up nearly on top of goal. But it goes out to the far side corner. Toppany with 2 multi-point games against the Frost this year. That's her former team, which she started her career with. Knight. Nice job to get it to Keller. Keller turns it over. Panic, 3-on-2. Panic shoots! And a blocker saved by Frankel. Zumwinkle tracks it down. Thrown in again. Thompson had it blocked. Puck lifted up as Knight is down there against Claire Thompson. Thompson spent last year in medical school at NYU. Did not play professional hockey. Was draft eligible last year and was picked 3rd overall. Shirley gets through. They're onside. Dropping it behind for Maloney. Now it's Saunier. Saunier to the point. DiGirolamo. Off of the end boards. Maloney tries to tap it back. Maloney one-on-one, and Channel Watkins wins the battle. Channel Watkins gets it out of the zone. And Hensley's back to set things up for Sophie Jakes. Jakes, a Patty Kazmaier Award winner at Ohio State in 2023. Has 14 assists this year, all but 1 an even strength assist. Cobb not able to keep it in. Boston has numbers if they hustle. Here's Rattray. Rattray shoots, and it's blocked high. Coming all the way over to get a piece of it was Batherson, and it didn't come in on Hensley. Looking for a lane to shoot. Intercepted again. This time it's Taylor Heisey. Heisey, the first overall pick in the 2023 PWHL draft. She scored the first PWHL goal on American ice right here at the Tsongas Center. Keller turns around right in front of Erin Frankel. Toppany now with speed. Toppany on the left side. Pushes it into the corner. Tries to race past Steckline. Some help on the opposite end by Bilka. Reaching out to grab it. Curl. Glove down by Keller. Trying to keep it in the zone. Curl lays a big hit on Keller, but Boston keeps it. Toppany now. Toppany from outside, and it whistles just past Hensley. Reached out her glove at it. Centering feed blocked. Back behind goal again. Thrown in, and another block by Curl. Minnesota is just all over these Boston shooting lanes as they're stuck at 1 shot. Bilka leaves it behind Keller. Keller tries to throw it in front, and McQuigg is there. Once again, a Boston shot runs into traffic. And we have a penalty behind the play as McQuigg and Keller got tied up. It looks like Keller will go to the box for a cross-check. 3:50 left. Minnesota to the power play when we return. Frost lead by 2. Minnesota is on the power play, up by 2. This power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel Paper Towels. Power through tough messes. Coin scores! 14 seconds into the power play. Frost are up by 3 in the first.
We talked about Kendall Coyne-Schofield and her speed, how it separates her. Watch how Kelly Panic gets the puck back, and now Kendall Coyne turns on the Jets, throws the puck, it deflects in off the Fleet defender as DiGirolamo goes down to try to take away a pass. Instead, it redirects into the net, putting the Frost up 3-0.
So 14 seconds into the first power play of the game, Minnesota gets another. And Boston is staring at a huge deficit with still 3 minutes to go in this first period. Petrie with Shishova. Minnesota not letting up. The assist on Coyne's goal goes to Kelly Panic. It's Panic's 8th assist of the year. And Minnesota, which entered the game last in the league in power play percentage, adds another on the advantage. Gigi, you mentioned effort and energy as a couple things Boston can control to try to get back in this. As they face an even bigger deficit now, what are some small things they can do to just try to get their footing back in this game and get some more shots too? Still just one.
Right. It's just simple puck management.
This is Rattray. Rattray gets around Channel Watkins and an arm is raised. Boston will go to the power play as Rattray draws the penalty. Boston scores 16.3% of the time on power plays, 14 goals on the advantage this year. Minnesota's penalty kill has struggled. They're also last in the league in PK percentage. Toppany looks towards goal and the glove save from Hensley. Vilka has been really good on the power play in the games that she's played. Out there right now with the first line of Boston's power play. Morin tries to keep it in by the blue line but can't. Has to circle back to the red line and throw it over to Toppany. Toppany has it bounce into the near corner. Quickly picked up by the Frost and thrown down the length of the ice. Frankel paddles it along to Morin. Off of the skate of Maloney. Now Knight turns up ice under the stick of Bilka. And just the connection's not there right now for Boston on the offensive end or through the neutral zone. A lot of passes have just missed their intended target, slipped under or over sticks. Gable, shot wide. Maloney takes a hit in the corner, and Keller has it now at the blue line. Keller able to keep it in. Bouncing puck that's settled down by Gable. Back to Keller. Keller turns towards goal, and it goes wide. Knight just through the crease. Shirley was on the back post, but it stays out. Gable now with 28 seconds left on the advantage and less than a minute left in this first period. Boston desperate for a goal. Keller to her right and behind Gable. Gable on the boards. 12 seconds left on the power play and mishandled at the blue line. Final 10 seconds. Minnesota is able to kill their first penalty. Channel Watkins is out of the box. We're back to even strength with 18.4 left. Inside the back post from Shirley. Shirley could not have been positioned any better. 10 seconds left in the first period, and Boston will have to regroup in the locker room. Minnesota with 2 goals in the first 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and then another power play goal. They lead by 3 at the end of 20 minutes, but Gigi, still a lot of time left in this game.
Hats off to Minnesota. They played really well, came ready from the drop of the puck to compete. They executed extremely well and were able to capitalize.
Britta Curl-Salemi at 2:23. Lee Steckline at 3:08. Kendall Coyne-Schofield on the power play at 16:24. The Frost can stamp a spot in the playoffs with a regulation win. Second period. Teslarova now out there, the Czechia native who helped lead her team to the bronze medal game at World Championships. She has a 2-0-1 record this year, a 9.63 save percentage, and a 1.10 goals against average. Again, she's only played in 3 games and made 2 starts. Boston wants a strong start here in the second. This is Peshova in front, and it's blocked once again. Minnesota really packing it in front of Nicole Hensley. Of course, we'll keep you posted on the Ottawa-Toronto score at Coca-Cola Coliseum. 6 minutes into the third period there, it's 1-1. Coyne winds up and shoots wide. If Ottawa loses in any way, Boston can get away with a regulation loss here today. But they want to get back into this one and clinch a spot with one or more points. Thompson regained the zone quickly, but offsides. Peslarova, since World Championships, made 33 saves on Monday in an overtime loss to Montreal. Here's Shopsaw. Shopsaw dishes it off to Brandt. She shoots it. Hensley got a piece. Big save for Nicole Hensley. 2-on-1 for Boston. Brandt to Shopsaw again. Gable shoots and another save. Best even strength chances of the day by far for Boston early in this second period.
An excellent puck movement as well.
Agia trying to drop it deep, but it hit off of a skate, and Petrie steers it to the neutral zone. Shishova.
Puck movement was a difficult thing to get by in the first period for the Boston Fleet. They were turning pucks over and couldn't connect on passes, and so it's a good sign to see them connect 2-3 together.
Rocketed in from the blue line, and another save for Hensley. Agia lays a hit after the save. Boston was +4 in faceoffs in the first period. Minnesota trying to get it out of their own zone. Bookbinder. Check that, it was Panic that was working through the neutral zone. McQuigg tosses it back to Jakes. Sophie Jakes, 5 assists against the Fleet this year. 2 of her 5 multi-point games this season have come against her former team, Boston. Big shot from Zumwinkle, blocked by Keller, and Boston gets it out quick. Here's Keller. Keller tosses it to her right. Rattray shoots, and another block. Minnesota has been in all the right places on the defensive end. That was Channel Watkins who stepped in the way there. McQuigg looks towards goal, and Peslarova nearly covered up, but it leaks to the end boards. No harm, no foul for Boston. If you're just joining us, it was an onslaught of Minnesota goals in the first period. 2 of them in the first 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and then Kendall Coyne-Schofield on the power play. Peshova's one-timer is off the mark. This is Kava. Peshova undercuts Kava, but Coyne-Schofield in the corner. Peshova the other way. Bookbinder shoots, and a save with the glove hand by Peslarova. Coyne-Schofield back to the top. Tossed down toward the end line. Kava. Kava, who played so well against the Fleet in the PWHL Finals last year, had 2 points in that decisive Game 5 that the Frost won 3-0 to secure the Walter Cup. Knowles takes a hit from Peshova. Loose on the end boards, leaking out toward that far post. Falling over there with Sheppers, no trip. A stick goes flying. That looks like Katie Knowles. As it snapped ahead to DiGirolamo. Did she get a piece? No, icing. GGU asked Ken Klee about Boston's forecheck and how they would respond against it. He talked a lot about clean exits and beating Boston's primary defender one-on-one out of the zone. Topping it, shoots, and a save by Hensley. And
they've done well. I mean, look, her player with the puck, Jakes, right now, she has came out of her zone 3 times, skated it to the far blue line. And so when you have the ability and the legs on defenders that are like that are so offensive-minded and gifted and agile, it's so helpful for a team. Petrie slams on the brakes at the top of the left wing circle. Shopsaw steps in the way of that pass. Boston turns up ice 3-on-3. This one deflects off of Gable's stick deep into the corner. Stays in play. Thompson takes a huge hit and is down on the ice. She gets up to her skates quickly, though, as Brandt leaves it for Brown. Brown throws it in, and it went off of her teammate's leg. Teresa Shopsaw. Left down by Brown at the red line. Tapped by Thompson's stick, who shook off that hit. No problem. Lee Steckline, referred to by her head coach Ken Klee as the team mom
has that calming presence and steps up big in big moments. She has 3 goals across her last 2 games. Keller shoots and Hensley swallows it up. A good shot from Keller, and the intensity ramping up here the final day of the regular season. Boston needs just 1 point to clinch a playoff spot. Knight, second chance, and it went all the way in on Hensley, a pad save. Keep you posted on the Toronto-Ottawa score. It's still 1-1 at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Just 8:52 left in the game. Nice pass. Jakes shoots and scores! Sophie Jakes gets her first goal of the year versus the Fleet. 6th of the season. Minnesota up by 4.
We talked about how active their defense are, how they have great legs to skate the puck, and watch how Kelly Panic drives. She drives, brings Hannah Bilka, and forces the defender, Emily Brown, to who do I cover? That opens up this underneath lane for Sophie Jakes to get it and rip it. Blocker side, past Peshlarova. Here's another look as Kelly Panic drives. Great job stopping on the net, looking for a rebound, but there is none as Jakes finds the back of the net.
Fresh off the faceoff, Coyne wants more as Minnesota gets the first goal of this second period to add on to their 3 from the first. Shots in the game now 13-8. This one bounced in dangerously close to Peshlarova. And Boston now chases their largest deficit of the game. You talked about it on that replay, but I feel like Kelly Panic's speed and the way she's able to stop right in front of Peshlarova must be really hard for a goalie to be focused on where the puck is as well.
100%. So it does twofold. Pushes, creates a lane underneath, but also, as you mentioned, David, it puts pressure on the goaltender because you're a little worried. Are they going to stop? Are they going to run me over? And how do I slide in order to get the puck?
That shot is wide off of the stick of Sid Bard. Bard, a 4th-round pick out of Colgate. This one might have hit off of Hensley and just wide. There is a lid on the net behind Nicole Hensley right now. Coming off of her first shutout of this season. 2nd goalie in PWHL history over the age of 30 to pitch a shutout. Joining Anne-Renee Desbiens, who had a shutout last season. So the goal from Jakes comes at 6:47 of the second. That's what Toronto did last year. They picked Minnesota, who was 4th in the standings at the end of the regular season. Regardless, you can't really win if you're the 1 seed. You're putting bulletin board material up one way or another. And Minnesota, about halfway through regulation, is poised to be in the playoffs once again. If they win in regulation, they're automatically in. As Hensley covers up here. Thrown in by Knight. Another save, Hensley. Outletted to McQuigg. Too strong to stay on her stick as Panic able to settle it down. Went off of a linesperson skate. Our referees this afternoon are David Elford and Laura Schmidline. Linespersons are Greg Offerman and Allie Barris.
Minnesota Frost D have been using their feet to get themselves out of the zone. So if they can just skate the puck more and have that center support, they'll have more success because the puck will be in the offensive zone and have chances to bring it on Nicole Hensley.
Toppany sandwiched at the blue line as she exits onto the bench, ending her shift. Shopsall fights for it right in front of the scorer's booth. Boston has won 8 of their first 10 games here at the Tsongas Center, but they're in danger of dropping this one. We're going to have a penalty on Minnesota, an interference call as there was a hit behind the play. Kava will sit for 2. Here's Knight. Knight on the near half wall. Maloney fighting for it against Thompson. Toppany now in the corner. Close catch with Maloney. Maloney back to Toppany. Toppany, left wing circle back to Morin. Morin, Toppany now. Toppany, pass to the slot, just wide! A great feed to Bilka, who doesn't miss by much. Boston's made it tough on these penalty killers to sub off, but now it's cleared down Peslarova's way with 1:14 left on Boston's power play. Quick re-entry. Nice job by Peslarova sending it up ahead. Bilka, Deeks, drop pass to Shopsaw. Morin at the blue line. Morin down low. Right side, Bilka. And Rattray comes out to the outside. Blocked in front and backhanded out by Panic.
Some good quick looks, and I love that Peslarova fired it up to Bilka. They were able to attack, couldn't quite create an opportunity off it, but love the aggressiveness by the goaltender. Gable
works past Jakes easy. And Boston has it in the far corner. Tossed off the end wall, where Shopsaw retrieves. 30 seconds left on Boston's second power play. Shopsaw, one-timer, Keller shoots in. Hensley makes a big save with the glove. Toronto just went to the power play with 3:45 to go in a 1-1 game. That game in the third period. Montreal versus New York got going about 15 minutes ago at the Prudential Center. For the second straight year, New York will have the #1 pick among original 6 teams in next year's entry draft. Yet to be determined how the 2 expansion teams will factor in there. But there will be more announcements on the expansion draft as well as the entry draft order as we work our way through the playoffs and the early offseason. As Natalie told you at the first intermission, Seattle will gain a PWHL team next year, joining Vancouver as the 2 new teams in the league. Knight shoots, and Hensley makes the save off of her glove again. And Nicole Hensley has been perfect. Another save on Agia's try, wrapping around the post. Knight, backhand pass to Toppany. Up top, Keller. Keller throws it off of Agia's stick, but it bounces to the boards. Here's Coyne. Coyne scored on the power play in the first. She'll dump and change. Minnesota up by 4. 3 goals in the first period. 1 here in the second from Sophie Jakes. Icing waved off. Boston tries to capitalize. Back to the neutral zone. Keller flips the puck into the corner, where Channel Watkins tracks it down. Teixova to her D-line mate DiGirolamo off of Shopsaw's upper body. And bangs off the end boards. Subdued crowd here at the Tsongas Center as Minnesota has been in firm control of this game from the opening few minutes. This is Gable. Gable left side. She shoots, and Hensley makes another blocker save. Good chance from Gable with speed, as it's taken away on the back check by Rattray. Squirts out to the red line. Tossed ahead to Shishova. Shishova takes a big hit from DiGirolamo. And Minnesota will go on the power play.
The first period, Minnesota did an excellent job keeping the Boston fleet on the perimeter. Boston has had much better chances in the second period. So again, how can they continue to drive the net and bring the puck to the net as well?
This is another Royale Tiger Towel power play. Minnesota scored on their first. Less than 20 seconds into their first advantage, it was Coyne who made it 3-zip. Steckline has it now. She has Minnesota's second goal of the day. Heisey snaps it over to her left. Thrown in by Thompson, just wide. Thompson has been so steady at the blue line for Minnesota. 14 assists in her rookie year. Kava dribbling in on Peslarova. She makes the save. Heisey takes the shot, throws it in, and it's just off the back post. Thompson first to it. Nice pass to the slot, and hammered in! Curl's got her second, and Minnesota is up 5-0.
Their tic-tac-toe passing is really what sticks out. Watch as the puck moves from up top. Taylor Heisey has it. She attacks. No one's coming on her, so she goes down to Kava, over to Curl Salemi, and Curl Salemi is able to bury the puck for her second goal of the game.
And this has just been a nightmarish day for Boston. No other way to put it. Facing a massive deficit with 5 minutes to go in the second. Minnesota came into the game last in the league in both power play and penalty kill. Their penalty kill's 2 for 2. So is their power play. Curl with her pair of goals today is up to 9 on the year. 15 points for the rookie out of Wisconsin. Bookbinder wants more. Throws it in front of goal is Panic, just lying down in the crease. Peslarova makes the save. Minnesota's got another. They have a 5-0 lead at the Tsongas Center. We still got a lot to sort out here today. Minnesota's up comfortably on Boston, but Toronto versus Ottawa is in overtime, and that result could very well dictate the final team in the playoffs. Bard shoots, and another save by Hensley. In front by the crease, and Knight can't get it on her forehand. Barring a massive comeback from Boston here today, they are rooting hard for a Toronto overtime win. Knight tries to hammer it out of the air as Bilka is deep. Bilka threw it net front. Bard to Bilka. Bilka right side. Minnesota's added 2 more goals here in the second. Off the post, Keller! Closest the fleet have been today. Channel Watkins from behind goal, and Minnesota gets it out quick. Peslarova from behind goal plays the puck. She came in for Erin Frankel at the start of the second period. Frankel let up 3 on 10 shots faced in the first. Loose in front, Hensley deep within her own goal. And it somehow stays out again. Saulnier was giving her pressure. That means these two teams are fighting for the final spot in the PWHL playoffs in 2025. Minnesota needs a regulation win with the Ottawa result, and they are up by 5. Bookbinder nearly turned it over. Knight back behind for Toppany. Toppany makes the save. Hensley, and she spins down as Knight was looking for a rebound. Jakes secures the face-off win for Minnesota. Jakes, who scored even strength to make it 4-0. Now Zumwinkle, reigning rookie of the year, who had an awesome season last year. 19 points. Was tied for second in the league in goals. Had 2 shorthanded goals as well. Zumwinkle out there right now with Panic. Here's Rattray. 1:18 left in the second. Rattray throws it in on Hensley. Another save. Bounced out of her glove. And leaks behind goal, where Channel Watkins moves it along to the far half wall. Zumwinkle able to fend off Agia. And the alternate captain, Panic, settles it back down. Turnover as Agia didn't know the puck was heading her way. She was skating off to finish her shift. Brandt pushes it to Keller. Keller to Peyshova. She looks towards goal, and it hits off of Brandt and bounces wide. Less than a minute left in the second period. Pejshova, another save, Hensley. Hensley has not allowed a goal in her last 5+ periods. A shutout against Ottawa earlier this week, and now closing in on 2 shutout frames against Boston. Here's Knight. Knight, backhand shot. Hensley's got another. Hensley has stopped 41 of 41 shots over her last 2 games, including this afternoon. That does it for the second period, and more answers for Minnesota. Boston still has yet to score. Sophie Jake scored at 6:47 of the second period. Britta Curl-Salemi on the power play at 14:58 to make it 5-zip Minnesota. Minnesota looks to stamp their ticket to the playoffs. Boston needs to get on the board early and often here in this third period if they want a prayer at the postseason. Good news for Boston is they've been really good in the third period. They have 9 games this year in which they've scored 2 or more goals in the final frame. That is tied for most in the league. The last time these two teams played, Boston trailed big, scored 4 unanswered, and went on to win 4-2. The deficit is much bigger today. But can Boston start to chip away? Here's Sonia. And quickly over is Heisey to get it out of her stick and back to the neutral zone. Your goal scorers for the Frost today: Curl-Salemi twice, Steckline, Coyne Schofield, and Jakes. This is Brandt. Brandt 1-on-2. Spun onto the boards by Thompson, who's able to take it away. Thompson ahead to Heisey. Heisey gets it back to Coyne. And a fight into the corner with Pejshova muscling it away. Boston came out with good energy in the first few minutes of the second period. This one is tossed behind goal as Hensley was drifting to the far post. DiGirolamo, who's played every regular season game of the first 2 years of her PWHL career, out there on the blue line for Boston right now. That's Jakes, who's able to flip it over a Boston stick, and Jakes has it back in the corner. Strong pass up ahead to Coyne.
You'd really like to see on some of these neutral zone regroups a weak side defender jump into the play and give Boston some numbers attacking the offensive zone.
It's a PWHL triple header here on the last day of the regular season. First game of the day is in the books. Ottawa overtime winners over Toronto 2-1 at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Montreal taking on New York and is up a pair 2-0 at the end of the first. Turnover. And Petrie's going to take her time. Batherson looking in front. Keller's stick able to poke it to the end boards. Curl-Salemi has 2 goals today. There have been 5 hat tricks in the PWHL this year. 2 by Teresa Venisheva of Ottawa. Her teammate Cheyenne Darkangelo had a hat trick against Boston. And the others are Marie-Philippe Poulin and Hillary Knight. Here's Knight off of the post, and it stays out! Top corner, and somehow not able to cross the goal line. Snapped in, Hensley makes a save with the stick right in front of her pads. Saulnier throws it towards goal, and Hensley makes another stop.
You have to score, if you think about it, so consistently, and why not put 6 on the ice to give yourself a better chance? There's nothing to lose.
Desperation for Boston as Ottawa is in the playoffs. Minnesota is in with a regulation win. Turned over, Zumwinkel looking towards goal. Nice job by Morin to get in the way at her own blue line. Bilka Gets it around the end boards where Toppany tries to get to it, but Thompson is able to throw it out. And Keller beats back Zumwinkle for icing. Thompson down the length of the ice, just wide of goal. Another icing. Each team's primary face-off taker. Panic entered the game 4th. Check that, 2nd in the league in face-off wins. Toppany entered the game 5th in that category. Morin shoots. Hensley makes the save, dribbling in. Hensley dives down to cover up. Morin had a chance on the rebound, but Hensley stands tall. That was Morin with the initial shot, and Vilka with the rebound chance. And Vilka missed a lot of time with injury. As Peshlarova's back in, it's even strength, 5-on-5. Pass just out of the reach of Hannah Brandt. But DiGirolamo is there. Wards off Coyne Schofield and goes to the opposite side. Frost will get it back in the neutral zone. Coyne turns up ice. Nifty move to get past Gable, and she throws it deep and comes off. Fresh legs for the Frost. Over 5 minutes gone in this final period. Curl looking for her third. Peslarova makes the save. That was a hummer, and it came in from Britta Curl-Salemi, who has 2 goals in this one at 2:23 of the first, and the most recent goal on the power play at 14:58 of the second. Boston has numbers. Gia just throws it in on Hensley off of her paddle and wide. Backhand thrown from the corner. Rattray tries to get it back to Bard. Bard moving along the half wall. Thompson turns around. Just out of the reach of Gia. Gia told our Natalie Norrie heading into the locker room that she's going to stay positive, give her teammates confidence, and just try to chip away at this Minnesota lead 1 goal at a time. They're still looking for that first, though. Knight, Bard. Bard back to Toppany. Knight taps it towards Hensley, who makes the save.
Heads up play. Redirection by Hillary Knight, but Nicole Hensley shuts the door.
Boston needs 1 or more points.
And they'll be able to do that when you have Kelly Panic winning so many draws in the defensive zone.
Keller looking towards goal, and another glove save. Hensley, she has been lights out today. Empty netter, and it's 6-0. Best look the Frost have had at that empty net, and they add another.
McQuaid coming across the line. Great work by Zumwinkle to first get her the puck, but as she comes across the line, puts it right in dead center.
And she gets on the board with an empty netter. Still not even midway through this third period. Minnesota jumped on Boston quick. Goals at 2:23 and 3:08 of the first period. Boston was down a pair in the blink of an eye. As Hensley able to steer the blocker and push that puck to the corner. Minnesota added 1 more on the power play in the first. In front, diving out. Hensley able to cover up once again. Brandt had a look. Chaos off of the draw. But another save from Hensley. Peslarova in there for Boston in goal. Coyne has her shot deflected by Bard. Brandt tries to push it along on the far half wall. And now Brown is harassed from behind by Coyne Schofield. She has just such a high motor. Does the Minnesota captain all over the ice, going 110% every shift.
She does an awesome job with utilizing her speed to create chaos by putting pressure on the opponent, and it forces you to think so much faster.
Stay on sides here as Shishova tries to run it down. Shishova, college teammate of Kendall Coyne Schofield at Northeastern. As Thompson nearly collides with Shishova. Might be a dumb question. Can you work on speed as a player? Can you work to try to get faster?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. But there are some people who are just God-given talents, and Kendall Coyne Schofield has incredible amount of speed that she was just blessed with.
So there's different starting points is what I'm hearing.
Well,
right?
I mean, don't get me wrong, Kendall Coyne Schofield is a workhorse and has worked so hard for everything she's been given, and she's just done an incredible number for women in all sports, and it's just so fun to see her succeeding.
Looking towards goal, DiGirolamo's shot is blocked to the corner. As Kendall Coyne Schofield, the captain of the Minnesota Frost, has to love the effort that she's seen from her team here this afternoon. They needed a regulation win to clinch a playoff spot, and they are 9:52 away from a convincing regulation win. 6-0 the score. Goals in every period for Minnesota. Boston had to yank their starter Aaron Frankel after 20 minutes. And despite outshooting Minnesota now by 8, they have yet to find a goal. Out of the reach of Knoll. Brown is back. And in the neutral zone, tossed ahead softly by Jakes. Jakes scored Minnesota's 4th goal of the day. Zumwinkle has 3 assists to lead all scorers from Minnesota. Curl has 2 goals. McQuigg has a goal and an assist. Those are all of your Frost with multiple points. Boston has outshot Minnesota 24-8 across the second and third periods, but it has not mattered. This is a Royale Tiger Towel power play. Minnesota is 2 for 2 on the power play so far today. Power play goals from Coyne and Curl. Most recent goal is from Brooke McQuigg on an empty net to make it 6-0, matching the most goals scored by Minnesota this year. Most goals scored by any PWHL team is 8 by Ottawa in an onslaught against Minnesota earlier this year. Final score was 8-3 back on February the 13th. And that was just 3 days ahead of the most recent meeting between Minnesota and Boston. That's right, these two teams last played in mid-February, with Minnesota winning 4 of the first 5, 2 in regulation, 2 in overtime. Boston just with the win on February 16th, 4-2. It was their only regulation win against the Frost. Big hit laid on Brandt, but arms stay down as the power play continues. 35 seconds to go on the power play. Batherson, little misdirection, and a glove save, Teslarova.
Katie Knoll with a strong play. She's the one that put a body on Hannah Brandt in the penalty kill. And the crowd had a response. The crowd was looking for a call, but no call on that. Katie Knoll and her teammates are able to stay on the power play.
.20 seconds to go in Minnesota's 3rd power play of the day. Some pinball action in the neutral zone. Agia backhands it deep with 7 minutes left. Minnesota had the least margin for error in the final 2 games of the regular season. They were in 5th place on the outside looking in the playoff picture. Here's Knight. Knight's shot is deflected wide off of the glass. They got a 3-0 win against Ottawa to keep their playoff hopes alive. Got a full 3 points. And on the verge of closing out their regular season with 2 straight regulation wins against the teams closest to them in the standings. Talk about clutch play from these defending champs. The Frost showing their mettle down the stretch of the regular season. Backhand shot from Morin. Hensley makes the save. Collisions by the near post. And Hensley covers for a whistle. Speaking of the defending champs, Minnesota, this is a rematch of the PWHL finals from a year ago. They won 3-0 in Game 5 to become champs. Funny thing is, they were the 3 and 4 seeds entering the playoffs, and Gigi, we've talked about it all year, parity in this league. Just because you're a top 2 seed doesn't mean you're winning in the semis.
Absolutely. It's such a close game. All the games are typically so close in this league. Just the parity, as you mentioned, David, and the talent is through the roof, off the charts. It's so fun. That's why this league is just enjoyable to watch, because of the product on the ice.
And New York, even though they'll miss the playoffs for the 2nd straight year, much improved from last season. First team eliminated from playoff contention, but because they got some points after elimination and because no other team was eliminated heading into the final day of the regular season, New York will pick first of the original 6 teams in the entry draft. Doesn't mean they'll have the first overall pick, but they will pick first of the 6 current teams in the league. Nearing the end of the regular season in year 2 of this fantastic league that has averaged over 7,300 fans a game through the first 84 games of the regular season. Total attendance this year over 600,000, and over 1 million fans who have attended a PWHL game across the 2 regular seasons and last year's playoffs. 5 minutes to go. Minnesota looks poised to be in the playoffs once again. Boston. They are 0 for their first 2 on the advantage, with a combined 3 shots and an empty netter for Minnesota. From 200 feet away, Sophie Jakes has got another. It's a jailbreak goal, shorthanded, and it's 7-0.
Here's a look at that. Coming out of the corner, it goes right to Sophie Jakes' stick and basically up against the back wall. Does she rip the puck dead center, able to put the puck in the net, help her team out to a 7-0 lead.
It's the 2nd most goals scored by a team in a PWHL game in the league's history. Ottawa scored 8 against these Frosts back in mid-February. And talk about an exclamation mark on the regular season for Minnesota. 2 straight wins in their final 2 games of the regular season. They got all 6 points they needed, and they'll be in the playoffs. Nicole Hensley still looks to preserve the shutout with 4:30 to go. DiGirolamo scores! Boston's on the board, and the fans erupt.
DiGirolamo, she gets the puck out on the point, keeps it in, and watch how she crosses over, creates space, rips the puck, able to move players out of the way just by her movement, and gets her first goal for the Boston Fleet. Also puts it up 7-1 now. Her team on the board, excuse me, 7-1.
Well, Boston needs 6 more. They might not get them, but the fans who have stayed to the very end show why this league has the best fans. Here at the Tsongas Center, the Fleet faithful rise to their feet and cheer on Jessica DiGirolamo's first goal of her PWHL career. No goals last season for the 26-year-old. First goal in year 2 comes with about 4 minutes left in Boston's regular season. Doesn't take anything away from Nicole Hensley's game. She's made 28 saves and has stopped 52 of the last 53 shots she's faced, going back to last game against Ottawa. Channel Watkins back behind her own goalie with Brandt there. Thrown in toward Peslarova. He's not going to cover up here, wants this puck to stay in play. Glove down by Coyne. In front, wrapping it around. Puck is loose. And Gable steers it away for the moment. Kava has it. Kava, nice back spin, big shot, and Panic just misses. Thompson, and Peslarova makes the stop. 2:48 left in regulation.
Look at Jessica DiGirolamo, just such a great teammate. Always has a smile on her face when you walk in the locker room, when you go to the rink. Very happy to see her get on the score sheet.
Zomwinkle tries a shot. Peslarova able to cover up 8 seconds after her last save. And Minnesota is 8 seconds closer to officially clinching that 4th and final playoff spot. Boston will miss the playoffs for the first time in their team history after taking Minnesota the distance in the PWHL finals last year. Maloney sprung ahead, backhand shot. Hensley, a huge save as she rolls onto her back. McQuigg, what a move. Gonna take some more time off the clock here and battle Brown in the corner. Gigi, it's gonna be heartbreak in the Boston locker room, but really just such little separation between the middle of the pack this year, really between the entire 6 teams. And Boston, despite not making the playoffs, certainly took some steps in some areas this year. Hillary Knight, a huge increase in scoring. Found Peslarova as a quality backup. And what do you think the message is, or maybe the summary of Boston's season that's going to fall just short of a playoff berth?
Yeah, it's so tough because I mean, you just feel the devastation, you feel the disappointment, and it's so immediate. You can't quite get past that. Of course, you want to just honor and thank the teammates next to you, your coaches, your staff, and just do the absolute best you can in the offseason to put yourself in a better position coming into this last game of the year for the next year.
Right.
Because it's so hard because you're literally going over so many plays, whether in this game or in the previous games. Like, games are coming to mind where points, crucial points, were lost or gained, and it's just a hard thing to overcome.
Hillary Knight will sit 2 minutes as Minnesota goes back on the power play. This is a Royale Tiger towel power play. Hooking is the call at 18:33. Well, it came down to the last day of the regular season for the 2nd straight year. And the same 3 teams that were fighting for playoff spots were doing the same here today. Boston, Ottawa, and Minnesota. It was Ottawa who couldn't cash in their final game of the regular season last year. And this year, it's Boston going to be the fifth place team in the standings and fall just short of a playoff berth despite being tied with Ottawa and Minnesota in points. They lose the tiebreaker, which is regulation wins. Ottawa has 12, as another one's cashed in by Himlarova with 46 seconds left. The third power play goal of the day for the Frost, and they have tied the PWHL record with 8 goals as they close in on their 10th regulation win, one more than Boston's 9.
Himlarova, another player getting her first goal. You see this big celebration that came from that due to a lot of the emotion and excitement for her getting the first goal.
Himlarova gets high fives and pats on the back on the bench. Her first goal of her PWHL career after Jessica DiGirolamo scored her first. Final 40 seconds as Minnesota has punched, maybe stomped their way into the playoffs. This will be the largest margin of victory in PWHL history. As Petrie knocking at the door for more. Babstock gets it to the neutral zone, and Gia. Here's Babstock. Babstock trying to work through, and Pepper Hensley, DiGirolamo bounces a puck in. 5 seconds left. Minnesota, who needed 2 regulation wins in their final 2 games of the season, get just that. They are the 4th and final team into the PWHL playoffs, and Boston's season comes to a close in the last day of the regular season. A convincing, dominant effort by Minnesota. 3 power play goals, 2 empty netters, one of which was shorthanded. And Nicole Hensley makes 29 saves in the victory.
From the drop the puck, Minnesota came ready to play. They were in sync. They really played their systems well. They blocked shots defensively. Nicole Hensley was outstanding. And probably most importantly, they converted. They knew their season was on the line. And Coach Kempley talked to us before the game, David, and said, hey, it's important. We have to be able to win these games against Ottawa, the last game they had, and then today. And it's just so sad for the Boston team and their fans as well, as they weren't able to come up big in today's game and put themselves into the playoffs. And so it'll just be a really challenging handshake line and last salute to their fans.
Minnesota could clinch a playoff spot with a regulation win today. How about an 8-1 victory for the Frost in their final game of the regular season? And Boston is sent packing. Their season ends today. Boston will finish the year with 9 wins, 6 overtime wins, 5 overtime losses, and 10 losses in regulation. Minnesota, 10 regulation wins, 5 overtime wins, 4 overtime losses, and 11 losses in regulation. 2 goals from Britta Curl, 2 from Sophie Jakes, a goal from Coyne Schofield, McQuigg, and Himlarova as Minnesota wins in dominant fashion. A big thank you to our producer, Casey Carter, and our director, Bob Frateroli, and our broadcast partners, Natalie Nori and Gigi Marvin. I'm David Korzanowski saying so long from the Saugus Center. One final time, Minnesota wins 8-1. They're in the playoffs.